Joined by Martin Tyler after this evening's 2-0 win against Aveley at home. Martin, although both goals came in the last 10 minutes, we did hit woodwork 3 times during the game. Anything less than 3 points after that display would have been disappointing, wouldn't it?
Well, it's first of all, we were concerned about the after effects of Billericay, where we worked so hard to get a win and get ourselves back towards being on track again. And if you'd have said we were going to get 6 points and 2 clean sheets on Friday morning, I think we'd have all been jumping in the air, and I'm sure the K's fans are jumping in the air that the results have happened. I've got to hand it to the manager who did absolutely brilliantly to change it, to get us into a winning position, to take off one of the centre halves and risk losing the game, to go for the win and get a bit more width into the play, and turned us into a potent force. Yeah, we'd had 1 or 2 near misses before then, and we were playing okay, but the game might have petered out. But as it was, it finished on a real high, and 2 great goals and 3 points. So in Douse, trust.
The game was particularly tight today. There wasn't many chances, and it took a touch of class, didn't it, to open the scoring. What a great goal from Bob that was.
Are you surprised? He came with us 4 years ago now, and for 4 years he's been doing that sort of thing, and it's brilliant to have him around. There's always a chance when the ball's 20, 15 yards away from goal, and he's got the ball particularly on his right foot, and he's a real quality act. But it was a great team effort, really, because as I say, the mood going into the weekend wasn't particularly great. We all know that we could have done better as management, as players. We know that there was a fair amount of disappointment around because we didn't play that often. The games were spread out and we didn't get any rhythm, and now suddenly we're back in the mix again, and we're all delighted about it.
Alan Tate played today after his injury on Saturday. We got a real good look at him today for the first time. He only played 30 minutes Saturday. How do you feel his partnership with Bob is going to develop over the next few games?
I have to say, Alan Tate put in a shift beyond the call of duty tonight. He's got stitches in his foot, and we took him out for a fitness test an hour or so before the kick-off. A lot of players would not have played with the situation that Alan was in. And the only reason we took him off, a minute from the end or for 3 minutes from the end, was simply to get another defensive player on, young Tom Duffy, just to see it through. It was a great effort by Tatey. He's played with a lot of pain, and it's a really heroic effort. So he's got a winning goal for us in one game. He's put in a super shift on his home debut. So we're very pleased with him.
We've seen a few red cards this weekend. Stephen Gerrard got sent off yesterday. What did you make of this challenge on Simon Huckle?
Well, I feel sorry for referees these days because they're put in huge pressure by the lawmakers and the interpretation of the laws. And obviously the Premier League is a big advantage. We said to the players before the game today, look, Howard Webb's the best referee in the world. He's refereed the World Cup final. He's chosen to take issue with Stephen Gerrard yesterday. And the refs all watch, just like we all watch, and that's the way that the lawmakers think maybe the game should be refereed at the highest levels. I think there are more mistimed tackles the lower down you go, so referees have to show a certain amount of sympathy, and I don't want to see players sent off. Dowse doesn't want to see players sent off, and we were concerned that we might lose a player tonight because Lee Hall got booked in the first half, but he came through well, and that's another thing that we should take into the perspective. Of course, losing Bash, who's been our best player really over the last 4 or 5 games, and has ascended to the captaincy, and you interviewed him after the game of Billericay. He's really excited by that, but to pick up an injury so early, it seemed a tough one to overcome, but we managed to overcome it.
How big an impact did the weather have today? It looked very, very difficult surface to play on, particularly with the rain.
Well, you were at Billericay. No disrespect to Billericay Football Club. I mean, they did well to get that game on and get the game finished on Saturday, and it was very wet at the weekend too. This is fantastic here, and I must say that we as Kingstonian Football Club really appreciate the efforts that AFC Wimbledon put into this ground. I know it's a rivalry with the fans, and I know there's issues there, but from our side as the management, it's a great surface. We never think the home game's going to be off through rain or the pitch being waterlogged. Aveley came here, took a look at the surface, and they were thrilled to come out and play on it. So, although it rained through the game, and the wind was a bit of an issue, and it's blowing again now, but it didn't blow so much in the match. it did help us, I guess, the second half, the way we were playing the second half. We were pleased to get through the first half at 0-0, to be truthful, and we thought we'd built a platform to go on and win the game. We didn't think we perhaps had to wait so long to win it, but it's a great time to score late goals. It deflates the opposition, and obviously there's less time to see it through. So that was a satisfying night. So.
We've not got a game now till Sunday. Is that a good thing, having that extra day after 2 difficult games in 3 days?
Well, Dow said in the dressing room, he said, I'm giving the players 3 days off. And then the players out, when I was doing the cool down, said, hang on, 3 days is it really? I said, well, it's only 3 days if we train on Thursday as normal at 9:45 at night. So it's yeah, obviously they're having a laugh at it, but it's the best part. 2 full days off, and they need it, you know. And it has been a bit like starting the season again. We've trained hard during those times where you guys have been frustrated with no football to watch. We've been in every time there's been a Saturday. We've trained in the morning. We trained on that snowy morning when the snow came down at 10:30 and we were all nearly stranded at Hinchley Wood. The boys are putting a good shift, and they're getting their reward for that now, because we saw it through at Billericay. We were strong in the second half, and we scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to get 3 points tonight.
What a difference a week makes in football. This time last week we were talking about losing 3-1 at home to Horsham. Our chances all but gone. Now we've got 6 points from 2 games. We're back in this championship race, aren't we?
Well, this is the same Horsham team that went and beaten Sutton straight after that, so I think they've got to be taken seriously as well. They obviously got some good players, and they played very well in a particularly bad passage of the game, and that's what we've got to try and stamp out. We've got to try and stamp out those 10 minutes of madness that have cost us a number of games this season, and we've defended that much better. We've worked hard on it. Simon Huckle, I must mention Simon, because he can play in so many different positions. He played up front at Tooting, and he'll turn out anywhere for us, but he's just been sitting in front of the back 4 for the last 2 games, and we haven't conceded a goal. And whatever you ask Simon to do, he does it with good heart. He does it for the benefit of the club, and he's a terrific member of our playing staff.
How pleasing has it been for the coaching staff to get those clean sheets? I know Dowse is a real stickler for solid defensive performances. He must be pleased with 2 in a row.
Yeah, not as pleased as Joe Dolan, I don't think. Joe's obviously delighted coming here, and he's a very experienced player. He's a player we've wanted to have with us for some time. And of course he's been involved in those sticky moments where we shipped 3 here against Harrow, and we shipped 3 against Horsham. So we've tightened up, we've talked about it, but it's not just the back 3, it's defending as a team, and I think we were doing that well. Just say again that the magic about tonight was Dowse saying, I'm not settling for a 0-0 or maybe scraping a 1-0. We've got to be positive to go and do it, and you know, all credit to him. You know, that's why I sit alongside him. He's got that little touch of genius about him, and he should have huge credit. I know there've been 1 or 2 things levelled at him, but Kingstonian have got a loyal, devoted manager who loves the players, wants to be part of this football club for many years to come, and tonight I think, you know, Bobby will get the credit for a super goal. Obviously Gracie will get credit. I think it might have been going wide, but it's definitely his goal in my book. But it's a manager's win tonight, and I'm delighted to come here and represent him, really.
Thanks very much, really appreciate it, as ever. Thank you. I think we might be lost.
Yeah, we are.
We'll open it then.
Kingstonian.